Here's a segment from the latest edition of St. Charles Parish Today, a monthly local talk show.
He's a native of Metairie, but currently resides in Destrehan and serves as the council representative for the area. During the day, he works as an insurance professional and can usually be spotted running along Ormond Boulevard in his time off. Here with us for the very first time on St. Charles Parish Today is District 3 Councilman Dick Gibbs. All right, Dick, well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Tristan, thank you.
This is actually your first time being on St. Charles Parish Today, so before we get into my actual questions, I want to ask a little bit about you. What is your day job?
My day job is I'm the operations and sales manager for Hartwig Moss Insurance Agency. It's a well-established agency on Canal Street in New Orleans. And a real quick story, if I may. Hartwig Moss is a 145-year-old agency, turned 145 in November, and it's had one owner, one name. It's in its 5th generation. Hartwig Moss IV is running it presently. And I guess there's many unique things about the agency, but one of the most unique is it wrote the first flood policy in the country. It's framed and in the office, which is kind of unique because of all the flood issues we're having right now.
Absolutely. Okay, so what district do you represent and where do you live and represent?
I live in District 3, represent District 3. It's primarily Destrehan, Ormond. There may be a little overlap, but for the most part, that's the area. Most people know that Wendy Benedetto ran that district
for the past
for
8 years.
8 years, yes. And I am very glad to say that she left it in good shape for me, and now she's on to Councilwoman at Large.
You joined the council in January. How has your first year been?
It's been rewarding. It's been humbling. For 8 years, I spent on the planning and zoning, 7 of which I was the chair. I got to know all the council members, 6 of which are still with the council. And I guess I wasn't particularly ready for 9 personality clashes. But after 12 months, I can assure you, we've all worked any issues out we had, and we all have the vast majority of us have one common goal. And for the first year, we've pretty much achieved it.
Absolutely. And you mentioned, I was talking to you before, a little bit about accessibility with the residents that you represent. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
My constituents of my district, I don't want to sound cliche, but they are very important. I work for them. I hope that they know that I'm accessible, available. Anytime I get a call, anytime I get a text, I get a email, I have it logged on a spreadsheet, what the issue, concern, whatever their problem might be, and the date that I've responded to them. And then there's another column of the success or insuccess of what we try to accomplish. So I want everyone to know that I'm very accessible and very available.
See, I don't think that will ever sound cliche. But let's get into legislation. What legislation have you worked on in the past year, or are you working on for residents? And I have a list of some things here too, if you want to just quickly go over.
If I forget something, but the Dunleith Canal on the erosion issue, we were very fortunate to keep it in the budget this year. So those residents that are living along Dunleith on that canal and are experiencing erosion, it's going to be addressed throughout the year. I'm going to be on the council for the next 3 years, and I'm going to make sure that's still in the budget as well. We have small businesses that need to be paid more attention to. Some of them need some assistance in getting different licenses. I was instrumental in getting one in particular, and I would hope that the small business owners will use me as a tool to push their businesses forward.
Absolutely. And there's also the Ormond Boulevard resurfacing. I mean, we saw that for
I think everybody did.
Yeah.
And, I guess there was one misconception about the surfacing. That was primarily paid by DOTD and not by the taxpayers of the parish. While it looked very, very nice aesthetically, there are still some issues. I've had conversation with the residents that have the issues, and been promised by President Cochran that we'll get this addressed.
Absolutely. We just finished the budgeting process, and for people that might not know out there, that's one of the most important aspects of being a councilman. How did that go?
Surprisingly well. We were full of anticipation. The number of departments that the parish have, all of them have to submit a budget. President Cochran has instilled in everyone that we need to do more with less. And I can honestly tell you that each department head that presented their budget has done more with less. And it was seamless. The budgets were not out of line, and we were able to accomplish this pretty quickly.
Is there anything else that you're working on that you want to get the word out on?
I'm going to continue to work on the Dunleith Canal. We all have issues with drainage, particularly throughout the parish. It's not just to the Armand.
That's always going to be a thing, yeah.
And then there's one thing that I may have failed to address is the zoning, flood zoning in primarily in the Destrehan area that have an A99 zone. I don't know if a lot of the residents know that they are going to a preferred risk policy. It's referred to as PRP. Quick example, my policy, flood policy, is $1,400 a year. It's now $400 a year. Everyone that has an A99 in that area.
Yeah, that's a large portion of the East Bank.
It's a very large
majority,
portion,
yeah.
right. It's going to be zoned someday correctly off the new mapping, but for right now, NFIP, National Flood Insurance Program, has allowed our area to enjoy the PRP rating, which is much more economical for all of us.
And yeah, we had covered this a few months ago. It is it's relief for the people living on the East Bank who are paying those high rates.
Correct.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. I hope
Justin, I appreciate it.
You had a great time.
I'd like to do this again.
Absolutely. We'll have you back.
Right. Thank you so much.
Look for the entire episode at www.scptoday.com or on SCP TV.